This is Morning Magazine on WENG. Have a question or comment? Call 941-460-1530. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of the staff and management at WENG, Fiorini Broadcasting, or its advertisers.
Well, March, as you may or may not know, is Kidney Awareness Month. And over 500,000 people have kidney disease, and many of them don't know that they have a 50% chance of passing it down to their children. Our next guest is going to talk about that. She is a mom who had kidney disease and was tested positive for passing the gene onto her children. We're going to learn all about that. And she is the chief spokesmom for the PKD-Free Alliance, which was founded back in a few years ago, 21, I believe. And what the PKD Alliance is all about, it aims to eliminating polycystic kidney disease by preventing it from being passed to future generations. Good morning to Natasha Rogina. Hi, Natasha.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on.
Well, thank you for joining us. This is important information, and I will admit, Natasha, probably like many, I was not, until I was reading about PKD and you, I really didn't know that much about it, so I really appreciate your sharing your story. And so let's start there. You have, as I touched upon, but you have a personal story with this. Can you take us back to that?
Yeah, of course. So PKD is a genetic condition that results in cysts growing on your kidneys, and then if you have that disease, you have a 50% chance of it being passed on to your children. So when I was about 21 and I was dating my now husband, I just really wanted to know if I had it, because my mom had it, my grandma had it. It's been running through my family for several generations, so I just wanted to be able to tell my now husband, like, hey, we're going to have, a 50% chance of passing this horrible disease on. So I got tested with an ultrasound. They clearly saw a bunch of cysts. So at that point, I knew I had PKD. When we fast forward a few years and we decided we were going to start, planning for our family, a nephrologist at the University of Colorado had told me that there is this way that you can eliminate passing this disease down using IVF. So that is what we proceeded to do, and we were able to create 6 PKD-free embryos that the PKD-Free Alliance helped us achieve, and we just had our PKD-free baby girl named Juliana last December.
Oh, congratulations. Oh,
Thank you.
And what a beautiful name, Juliana. That really is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. So,
Thank you.
So you had a lot of that in your family history, obviously.
Yeah.
With that knowledge, were the doctors telling you before you got the results, when one has family history of that, was it like 100% chance that you would also have the genetic type that could be passed down, or what percentage? Do you know?
It was a 50% chance.
50.
So my mom, when she had children, she had a 50% chance of passing it down. So I did test positive for it. My brother tested negative, thankfully. So now that I did not pass it on, because we used IVF in the pre-implantation genetic testing to make sure that I wasn't passing on the disease, PKD ends with me. So nobody else in my family line is ever going to have to suffer from this disease. So now my child and future generations won't have to suffer from PKD.
Oh, my goodness. That's just kind of huge. My goodness.
Yeah,
So
it's incredible. And people just need to know about the PKD-Free Alliance and all of the funding that they are providing for families. And that's, my role as the chief spokesmom is to get out there and spread this message. Like, there's $3,000 available for anyone going through the PGTM testing of those embryos. There's $9,000 available for people that are going to, just jump right into that IVF cycle because they're partnering with huge fertility clinics like Kind Body and U.S. Fertility. And there's money out there, and it's important because IVF is extremely expensive. And I think a lot of the times people associate IVF with having fertility problems, and that's not the case. You can start eradicating some of these horrible diseases. You can even do this for some of the cancer genes that are out there. So it's just an important message, and I'm hopeful that people will start to hear this and they'll partake in this journey just like I did.
yes, because of course we all want all babies to be born healthy. And wouldn't that be an
Yeah,
amazing world when we can get to that point? So for folks, and if you're just joining us, I'm speaking with Natasha Rogina. She is the chief spokesmom, and I love that, for the PKD-Free Alliance. For folks, again, you touched upon it earlier, but the PKD-Free Babies program. Could you just elaborate on that a little bit, Natasha?
Yes, of course. So the PKD-Free Babies Initiative, we are, as an organization, partnering with different fertility clinics. So far, we are partnering with U.S. Fertility and Kind Body, just to have and help families gain more access to IVF. It's expensive. IVF costs for one round can range between $20,000 and $30,000, but we can provide funding to help lower those costs so that people have access to this. Again, a lot of people think IVF is only for fertility issues, but we can eradicate this disease in future generations, and that is what our mission is to just help with that generational health and this disease.
What is the best website, by the way, for folks to learn more about this, Natasha?
Yeah, the best website would be pkdfree.org, and there's all the information on there. We have different press releases where people can just learn more about how PKD-Free Alliance is helping to end PKD in the next generation.
Oh my goodness, so that's pkdfree.org is the website. I'll give that again, of course, before I wrap up my conversation with Natasha. But the test that you had, was that a blood test?
So my initial test to find out that I had PKD was an ultrasound. Just knowing that I had PKD in my family line, they were able to just plop an ultrasound on my kidneys, and it was obviously very full of cysts. So at that point, they knew that is exactly why there were cysts on my kidneys.
Well, one thing, and I often think this, Natasha, just in general, how lucky we are, how fortunate we are to be living in this day and age, where we live in this country, to have such advanced medical diagnostic tests, and your conversation is just reinforcing that for sure. But we need to be grateful for that. So PKD, and I'm asking you to, let's kind of reiterate that, because up until a month ago, I had heard of it. I did not know what it was. I'm embarrassed to say. So could you describe it? It has, as you did, cysts growing in the kidney that are filled with fluid. Is that correct?
Yep. So as those cysts grow, normal kidney function is then impacted, and often results in kidney failure by the time a patient is, in their late 40s or early 50s. It's the fourth leading cause of kidney failure in the United States, and about 600,000 Americans are suffering with this.
And there's no cure for it. The treatments really focus on just managing symptoms, I understand. So if we could just, stop, get to the point where we're no longer passing that down to future generations. I mean, yikes, how wonderful.
Absolutely. That is our mission, and I'm just proud to say that PKD ends with me and my family, and we really hope that we can end PKD in all families.
I love that sentence, PKD in my family ends with me. I mean, that's very powerful. And as you say, with other families as well, that is the goal. Now, so for folks, we're in Southwest Florida. Are you in Colorado?
Yes, I'm in the suburbs of Denver, Colorado.
Oh, you are? Oh, I have stepkids that live in Boulder and Golden, and then out west in Glenwood Springs. So we do spend some time in Colorado. Beautiful state, but I will admit I prefer the moisture of Florida to the dryness of Colorado. But that's but it is beautiful. So for folks listening, they could go on your website, and obviously the PKD-Free Alliance is working with folks everywhere, correct?
Yes, everywhere in the United States.
Okay, and so what would that process be to get involved? And go on your website and learn about it, and then who would they be dealing with?
Yeah, so when you go onto the website, you can click, there's a button that says Get Help with Funding, and we have a team of individuals that will be responding, and they will gather some more information from you. They want to learn about, insurance benefits, and when you're going to, proceed with all of this testing, because it takes a while to go through the testing for IVF. So, yeah, we have a website, and we will get started with you there.
Wonderful. And again, that website is pkdfree.org. Now, this may be a silly question, maybe not, but so men can have PKD in their families, and
Yep.
they could also pass it down. It's not just moms, correct?
Correct. So
Okay.
it would be a 50-50 chance whether you are female or male. So there are people in our organization that, the male in the relationship had it. So they also proceeded with the IVF, and then you're just testing those embryos for that gene, and then putting in the ones that don't have PKD.
Okay, so if you're a man listening, and if you have anyone in your family history, grandma, mom, whatever, you should get tested as well. Is that correct, Natasha?
Absolutely.
So it's not just women. Okay, good to know. Now, are there some upcoming initiatives or goals this year for the PKD-Free Alliance? Because was I correct? It's been around for just like 5 years?
Yeah, so it hasn't been around for that long. However, we currently have about 112 families in our program. So we are just really, the goal this year is to just keep spreading that word and increasing those numbers of live births. Right now, Juliana, my daughter, I think was the second one in the organization born without PKD. So we just want to see, these 112 families going through it right now. IVF it's not always a guarantee. It can sometimes take several rounds to have a live birth. So we just want to see throughout this year those numbers increasing.
Now, may I ask, at what point did you discover 100% that your beautiful daughter did not have this?
So when the embryos were created, a company called Natera built a probe with me and my mom's DNA to test each embryo that me and my husband created. So out of the several embryos we sent out for testing, 6 came back without that disease. So that is how we were able to verify that she did not have the PKD gene that would cause PKD in the future.
My. I'm just taking a pause because I'm processing this, Natasha. I can't imagine the level of excitement that you and your husband felt when you got that word.
It was incredible. I think we sent 13 embryos for testing, and 6 came back genetically normal and without polycystic kidney disease. So our first embryo did not result in a pregnancy, but our second one was our baby girl, Juliana, and we are about to get started with our next round in about a month.
Really? Oh, my goodness. Best of luck with that. And Juliana, goodness, again, goosebump moments, Natasha, goosebump moments. And again, you're, Natasha Rogina, who's the chief spokesmom for the PKD-Free Alliance, and they are all about just stopping this disease in terms of, getting to the point where it's no longer being passed on to future generations, and therefore we'll stop it in the tracks. Natasha, this is just so wonderful. PKD-Free.org is the website. Anything else that I'm neglecting to ask you that's real important?
No, I'm just so thankful you had us on the air today so that we can continue to spread this message throughout different regions of the United States. This momentum really started on Instagram. That is how I connected with the PKD-Free Alliance. And again, we're spreading the word, and we just want people to know that this funding does exist.
Oh, and look at you now. You're now the chief spokesmom.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Very proud of that title.
Yes, no, I love that title. Chief Spokesmom for the PKD-Free Alliance. And I encourage us to all check out the website, pkdfree.org, pkdfree.org. Natasha, congratulations on Juliana. Just so darn thrilling. Best of luck with your next round. And I so appreciate your time on the show today and sharing your story.
Thank you so much for having us this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Again, that's pkdfree.org. And, I will admit, I had heard of PKD over the years, but I never really knew what it was. So I was interested to learn more about it from Natasha. And, what a fabulous story she has. What a fabulous story. So we will take a quick break. But we need to do before then. How